Hi guys, I hope everybody is having a good day. So I just wanted to show you how to create a RPG kind of soul-like games. So I hope everybody enjoys this tutorial and let me know if there is any queries regarding that. And let's not get waste time. So let's get started. Okay. So first thing is I hope everybody are able to see my screen. Okay. So yeah. So first let's name our project. Let me name this project as RPG. One second. RPG style game. RPG style soul game. Okay, and make sure there are no gaps in between. Okay, or else it does not take it. So you can use underscore. So yeah, and please remember to add your location. So where exactly you need your location to be available. Okay, so once the available location is fixed and yeah, so if you want to start your game with the help of C++, you can keep, but right now I'm not going with the C++ as my entire agenda is to create everything in the help of with a blueprint. So I'm going to keep my project as the blueprint project default itself, and I can just enable the starter content. So previously in the previous versions of files and all, you could have expected something like ray tracing, another option would have been available, right? So right now you won't be seeing those ray tracing option. Okay, so but only one thing you can uncheck or check, that would be your starter content. Okay, so yeah, starter content is enabled. My RPG style soul game naming has been done, so let's get started. And I'm going to start creating, and I'm going to also keep it in the third person because I'm kind of doing RPG style game, right? So I'm trying to keep it in the RPGs. I'm in the third person. So right now you can see a simple third person template. So yeah. So now if I go and play, you can see there's a third person character which is moving freely. Okay. And yeah, one thing I want to change right now is, see, as right now we are concentrating to do the RPG kind of style. So here by default mechanics would be W is for move forward, S is for backward, and A is for left, and D is for right, and spacebar is for jumping. But you can see in the RPG style of games, so if I press the S as a backward, my character does not actually turn into a backward. Okay, so it is actually trying to just my camera is going to just move back, but the character would be still facing the front. So that would be my first challenge to change over here, because nowhere in the RPG style character does not change the direction and it is going to move in the backward direction, but the character would be moving in the front direction itself, just my camera would be moving backward. So for that, so in order to do that one, so let's go to the content browser, to the characters. Let's create a new folder, and let's name it as souls, or you can just name it whatever you need. Maybe I'll keep it as a soul itself, or I'll just name it as, to your better understanding, I'll keep it as RPG souls. Okay. So So yeah, so now our next thing is we have to download the animations. Okay. So let's import some of the animations over here. So let me go to import downloads. I have few animations which I had downloaded before. So I'm just going to download. See, all these things are like standard version, idle version, running, looping. So basic animations. Okay. So please download. So you can actually download all these animations in the from the Mixama also. So yeah, you can do that. So here I would be able to see all these things, where exactly you can download all these things. So here you would be having a skeleton option. So you can see I have only two options over here. So one is SK skeleton, another one is SK mannequin skeleton. Okay. So I'm going with the SK mannequin over here. So there were two options, right? SK mannequin skeleton and SK mannequin. So I think I'm opting for a SK mannequin. Okay. Okay, so after you select, see right now I'm not trying to make it everything with the default character itself. I'm just trying to keep it with the SK mannequin. Later I'm just trying to change it to the maybe a Paragon character from the Epic Games. Okay, that is my idea for now. So I'm just trying to import it. So let's cross check and save your files. Okay. So if you press Control B, your content browser thing would be opening. So let's see. Okay, my animations have imported fine and good. Let me check few more things. Okay, cool. Okay. So let's create, or let's just dump all this to one folder. So I'll name it as movements and just drag and drop or just move it over here. Move here. Okay. Okay. One thing I want to change it over here is, especially in this neutral run loop forward, in the forward animation, I would like to keep it in intact in place. So I would like to enable force root lock. Okay. So this does not move around, just stay it in a place. So let's save it. So let's select every animation except the idle animation. So starting from run loop B to the run loop uh, RL. Okay. So after selecting, right click and there would be an asset action. So I'm going to opt for edit selection in property matrix. So this is going to open a new window. So here this is one way of helping me in editing all the animation in one go. So instead of editing one by one, so I can just go to the this option. So here I can just select everything and I can go to the root motion and I can just enable root motion, and I can force root lock also, so you don't have to do one by one. Okay, so now if you want to cross check, just go and select any one of the option. So force root lock and root motion would be enabled. Okay, so I'm just showing you one more time. You can go to assert action, edit selection in the property matrix and select all the animations over here. In the root motion you can just enable the enable root motion and force root lock. So this is going to help you in editing all the animation in the one go. That is really cool. So alright, let's move forward. So let's just start creating the blind space. So let's just go to the animation section. Okay, and I hope you know how the animation section is going to work around. Okay, so now let's go and create the blend space. Okay, so let's go to the blend space. So here, see, I think I had one already existing skeleton, that is Quang skeleton, which I had taken from the Epic Games, but it's an option for you. You can opt for any other skeleton mesh also. So, or if you are liking something, then you can opt for SK mannequin. So what I was doing here was, first I want to do it everything with the skeleton SK mannequin itself. So later I'll change into a particular character. Okay. So that's what I have done so far. So I have to go for the animation. Then I've selected the blend space and I'm going to rename it as BS underscore okay. I'm going to name it as strafe movement. Okay, so now if I double click, I would be opening this as a blend space. So you can see in the asset browser all the assets which I had used so far would be over here. So from the Unreal Engine's default animation sequences to the animation sequence which I had downloaded, everything would be over here. Okay, so now I have to concentrate on the speed and the direction of the character. So I'm having a animation, I'm in blend space animation sequence to be added over here. I have a graph. Okay, so here I can add the movement and the speed. So I can go to the axis settings. So we have one for the horizontal axis and one for the vertical axis. Okay, This I would like to call it as direction axis, or forget about the axis, just keep it as a direction. So minimum would be minus 180, maximum would be 180, and grid division would be around 8. So you can see all the changes which is happening over here. So I'm going to enable the snap to grid. So now as for our vertical axis, I'm going to name it as speed. So what's your speeds limit and maximum speed limit you are expecting? So minimum speed I will keep it as 0, and maximum axis speed I can keep it as around 500. So this, no, actually in your third person character it would be there. Really quick, third person blueprint, third person's character. So if I click on the movements, character movement, here it would be there. So here you can see maximum walk speed is 500. So same thing, I'm just trying to keep it over here. Okay. Okay, let's come back. So I'm just enabling the snap to grid. Okay, make sure that is on. And grid division upside for the speed, I'm going to keep it as 4 itself. So here in the asset browser, so here you can see, oh, already asset browser is there. Okay, fine. So if I search for idle, so you can see I have a idle, MF idle, and the neutral star idle. Okay, so where do you think I have to add it over? I have to add it at the center position, so that every actions can come back to the idle animations. Okay, so let's go ahead. So let me just drag the neutral stand animation to the corners and to the centers and to the right corner. So let's one in the between, and here also I had added one in the between. Okay, so I'm just leaving a one space in between. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 neutral stand idle animation. Okay, so right now the speed is also 0 for it one. So now let's find the run animation. So first I need is the loop forward. So let me take this, drag it to the top. So where the speed is 500. Okay, so but and the direction is 0 and the speed is 500. Okay, so you can just hold the control and you can move around the axis, and you can see how the animations are changing according to the speed and direction along the axis. Okay, so then I'm going and place all the forward left and right. Let's take our FL, that is forward left, and I have added to the forward left. So you can hold the control and see. So from the run forward, it is going to the run left. So we are having that, something like that. So then we would go and add uh, left. So now you can see even a bit more. Hold, control and see it as moving left. Okay. So this is already going backward this here. So now I'm going to add BL, and last thing is back. So let me see, backward, backward left. Did I just smooth this? There is something missing over here. Let me just add. So forward left, okay. So let's cross check. So let me hold my control. Okay, things are going fine. So if you enable the tag, you can see all the tags over here. So back, back left, uh, left right, forward, this is forward left, this is left right. So let's do it for the other end also, same way how we have done for here. Back would be same for everything, so I can just drag and drop my back over here. So FR, oh, 1 second. So I just moved it to the animation. So let's cross check our RPG source, movement. Let's come back, take it over here. So this is FR. Now I have to add PR. Okay. Let's save everything. So let's move down and just cross check this weight speed, and we'll click it as or we'll mark it as 3, so that it will have a kind of smooth. Okay, so let me just read you back whatever we had added, starting with the forward, and this is would be my forward, FR forward right, and it would be RL, and we would be having back right, and this would be back B. So same thing here, FL, LR, and it would be BL, and it would be back. Okay. I hope till here you understood. So please say this. So now let's go to the content. Okay. So right now we have to check the animation blueprints. So I can just go to the characters, mannequins, animations, and here we can see ABP Mani. So if I open the ABP Mani, so this would be the animations, and if I go to the animation graph, so you can see all this. So now if I go to the state motion or locomotion, here you can see enter, idle or walk or run. Okay, so now if I double click on the idle animations, so we have idle. So here if I scroll down, so now if I just elaborate this, so instead of idle, I can just add it to our neutral. Where is this? Just now we had edited, right? So here I have to search for idle. If I search for idle, I would be having a neutral stand idle. So I'm just going to compile that. I'm just trying to change whatever by default is there, that I'm trying to change to the animation which right now I had downloaded. So that's what I'm trying to do it over here. Okay. So make sure your loop animation is ticked. So let's change our few more locomotion. So now I'm just going to change the walk and run state. So right now we are trying to replace the blind space, which we right now we had changed it over here. So now if I search for strafe movement, so let me drag and drop this strafe movement. I'm going to replace this with my this. I'm just going to change. So this I'm just going to promote it to be a variable. Okay, good. So now we have to just keep on compiling. So now we have to just change the variables. I mean we give the values to the variables. Okay, we'll do that. So now if I get back to my event graph, so here you can see the x and y vector length. So these are the components which we have to just look forward. So now here only they had mentioned what are the direction of the character, where and all it has been going around. So now what I have to do, as I had already created a new variable called as direction, so let me hold alt and drag it and create a new pin so that the direction of the value would be set. So if I double click on this node, root node would be added, so it would be easy to properly add the things. So now if under the reference you would be having a movement component and a character. Okay, so for the velocity and matters, I have to get a movement component. So from here I would like to get get velocity. Get velocity is over here. Okay, so now I have to add a one node which is going to set the direction of the character. So that is calculate direction. Okay, so now let me add the character. So from this character I would like to get actor rotation. Okay, so this value I'm going to add it as a direction over here. So now if I see C and I can add a comment as the direction, so it's more like I had grouped these things. Okay, so now if I compile, save, so slight animation changes are there. So one thing I have to do is I have to go to the third person blueprint. So I'll select the character movement, scroll down. So I have to search the rotation movement here, because as I had created a new rotation movement, I have to enable that rotation movement. Okay, so I'm just going to uncheck orient rotation to movement, and I'm going to enable the use control desired rotation. So compile. Okay, so now if I go, see right now, can you see the changes which it was not happening before? As I just changed the settings in my third person, you can see my backward. So it's like we have set all the settings which are basic requirement while you are doing for the soul like games. Okay. So now one more thing I have to do is character movement walking. Where is walking? So over here I have a walking. So in the maximum walk speed, so which is around 500, maybe if I change to around slight difference around 480. Okay, compile. So if you move, there's a slight changes in the speed. So now let me change a bit with the camera speed or the camera smoothness. So in order to do that, let me select the camera boom. In my viewport you can see the camera has been attached to the boom. Okay, so if I search for the lag in my details panel, so you can see here there would be an enable camera lag, because what's happening right now is my character is moving a bit of slow speed because we have changed the slight walk speed difference, but the camera is moving a bit fast. So if I enable this one, the movement of the camera also will have a slight lag, just like our character. That's cool, it's working fine. So we have set almost all of our movements. So now let's begin with some of our mechanics. Let me just close this. So we'll start our mechanics with so now if I go to the third person, input action, so we'll add few more input actions. So I'm going to create one more input action, calling it as input action IA, is a prefix, and I'm going to name it as log. Okay, so double click. So here you can see the IA log. So this is my input actions UI. Okay, I'm just going to keep all the values by default. So I'm going to keep it as save. Now I'll just go to the input IMC default folder, and I'm just going to add the new thing which I had added, that is IA lock. Okay, so now if I which has to be locked, so now I can add any button to lock. Maybe I can add um, I can add a middle mouse button to maybe lock it. So you just can search it over here, whatever the key you need, or you can just press on this and have the value over that. Okay, cool. So let's move forward. Let's save this. So before continuing, so let's make sure if all the projects are currently structured. In this case, let's split the logic. So instead of adding all the things in the third person event blueprint, we are going to add it to the blueprint class. So in order to make a very specified and a more classified version, in order not to mess up everything in the blueprint, we'll add a new blueprint where it is in the content, right, create a new folder and call it as what did we name it as our previous thing? It was named as RPG animations, right? So here I am going to name it as RPG blueprint. Okay, so inside my RPG blueprint, let me right click, okay, blueprint class. Let's create an actor component ppc underscore combat. So in this we'll add all the combat materials. So double click. Cool. So right over here, first thing is let's delete all these things. Right click. So first thing, let me add IA log. Oh, not this one, sorry. IA log. Okay. So as I had already added, in this case we'll add, so we can detect the target and we can just lock it. So let's expand this one. So I'll get it started with the started input, and I'm going to add sphere trace for objects. And now let's go and specify this one. So here that red color object, sphere object, it can detect and it can lock it. So right click, search for get camera manager. Manager, where is manager? Get camera manager. Okay. Hmm. So here it is. I have my get player camera manager. So through the player only we are going to set the camera manager. So then I have um, get word location. Okay. Let's just arrange it properly. So I'm going to add it to return value to my start position. So from here only I'm going to drag and get word rotation and get forward vector, and I'm going to search your multiply. Okay, little bit push this ahead. So I have to multiply this on the nice value. So I'm going to convert it into a float value. Okay. So here you can just give the value maybe around 1000 units. You can change this at any time. Okay. So now I'm going to add both the values, location and the rotation, and add it to your end. Yeah, object types I did not specify, so that's why I'm getting this error. So in the object type I'm going to make array. So this would be pawn because we are adding with the pawn, right? So right now if you see those error what I was getting, those error has been gone. Okay, cool. So I can expand, I can give the draw time changes if you need. Okay, or for duration I can keep it. Okay, and this also I can change it to around 2. So we can actually preview what it is happening with the things. Okay, and there we go. So now if I compile everything and play, so now even if I press the middle mouse, nothing is going to lock or anything because this component has not been added to the actor. So in order to add to the actor, let's go back to our third person, add, and let's add our BPC compact which we had just now created. BPC compact. Okay, make sure it has been added. Can you see? Can you see? You can see all the red marks. So you can alter the radius. You can see the radius changes over here. So what few other changes I have to make is I'll keep this radius to around 100 or around 150. Okay. Another few changes what I can do is right click and split structure. So it is going to divide my everything into XYZ axis. So from the Z, if I take add, and I can add around the value of 20. So from here I can make vector. Okay. So this vector, if I add it over here, sorry, this has to be connected to Z to Z, not the X. Now you connect Y to Y and X to X. Compile, save. So now I have saved it. Let's see. So now you can see it is going to end up basically in a higher value, not it is going below the ground. So we can change this value on the later on while we are adding a enemy AI characters or anything, but right now this is going to work fine. Okay. So here return value I'm going to add it as a branch. So now from the output I'm going to make it as this. I hope everybody knows break hit results. So in these cases we have the access to the hit actor, So now right click, promote it to a variable. So rename it as target lock actor. So whenever it detects, it will now save it as a variable. And make sure you keep on compiling your blueprint. So for this, one more thing I want to add is my event tick. Okay. So why? Because every frame it makes sure that our character is facing the enemy. Okay. So here let me get actor, right click. I'm going to convert it into a validate get. So we'll probably continue only if it is valid. So instead of getting we usually do it through the boolean, right? So instead of doing it in a form of boolean, I converted a variable into target. So now let me get this get owner, or let me just get this direct reference to the third person character first. So for in order to do that, let's first add event begin play. So get owner. So I just want to cast it to my third person character properly right now. Cast to third person character. So from here I want my, or I'll convert this as a promote to variable. So I'll rename it as player BP. So it is easier for me to uh, access third person blueprint as in the form of variable. Instead of casting multiple time, I just make it as a variable. So I'm going to rename it as BP or player BP. Sure, enter it. Okay. So now let us get it over here. So let me get my player BP, that is my third person. So get controller. So now get control rotation. No, not this one. Not the get, actually. Let me set control rotation. Connect it. Error, what is this error? Right? Oh, new rotation. I just kept it in the empty. So yeah, I haven't given any rotation, but I had given a set control rotation without a value. So obviously I have to give a value for it to compile. So now let me where is this? So find look at rotation. So here I can get the access to start and my target. So it can access two different rotation. So let me get my player BP one more time. So get actor location, get actor, that would be my start. So target lock actor, get actor location, get actor location, and connect it to my target. Oh yeah. So let me compile. Error has been gone right now. Okay, I hope you are getting it. Save. So with that said, okay. So I can just go to my third person. Let me go and drag my third person character over here. See now it is snapping to the snapping to that character. Let me change few things over here. Right click and split structure. I'll add -20. Make rotator. So pitch has to connect it over here. X will go to X, Z will go to Z, and new value will go to new rotator. Now compile it. Okay. Okay. So it's kind of locking. Okay. So let's go back to our BPC compact. So let's do some testing. As we are started, so this has to work if we are not locking the character. So we'll add some conditions over here. So how do we add car conditions? So let's get our same way how we have done. Validate get. So if it is not valid, here we go. So now if it is valid, so now again I'll take my target log actor, not the get, but I have to set the value. Okay. So we are just going to set the target lock. So the previous camera jerk what we were having, that has been. So where was this error once again? Okay. So that's cool. Error has gone. It is also setting and locking our target. So if it is valid, even take it is. Okay, here was the error. So I have to add. So if it is valid, I have to set the target log actor. So now the error has gone. So what I have done was, I mean, by mistake, instead of adding a target log actor, I just had I had set the third person. So yeah, now all the errors has been gone. See, make sure all these tiny things will give us a lot of, how do I put it? So all these tiny matters a lot, or else we would have stuck in a loop of correction, and the mistakes. So let's just never neglect all these tiny things. Okay. Okay, cool. Now all things are working fine. So now let's go to our third person character. Let's get back to our character movement. Let's come down. So there would be a rotation over here. Okay. So yeah, same thing what we have done with the previously with the movement. I'll just cross check this one and I'll enable the orient rotation to the movement. So now my character would be facing the rotation where it has been going, not just sliding, but it will actually turn to the left, right, front, back. Okay, so let's come back to after doing that, let's come back. Did I compile? Yeah, I had compiled. So let me come back to our BPP. So here, let's continue from here. Okay, so as we had, if it is true, we are setting this target lock actor, right? So if it is true, let me get my third person player. So after this player, from the player, what I need a character movement right now. Character spelling, please cross check your spelling. Where is my character movement? So I have my character movement over here. So from the character movement, I want to, what do you want right now? We want to search for set orient rotation to movement, and then we have to set control rotation, use control desired rotation to be enabled. Double click, get your root node, and here we go. So let's copy these nodes. So because why here we are doing that, we have done that for a, if it is not valid. So if it is valid, I have to do the other way around. So I have to also enable the orient rotation to movement and of this. So you can see if target lock is done, my backward and all it would be same, or else it would come back to its original state. Okay, alright. So now let's add little bit more detail. So let's go. So in the RPG blueprint, or let's create a new folder itself, and I'll name it as RPG UI. Okay. So right click, you can see user interface, and I'm going to create a widget blueprint. I'm going to name it as WBP underscore target lock. Cancel all these things. As of now we are not using this. Okay, so first thing obviously we need first let's drag and drop a image to hierarchy and rename that as icon. Okay, now I have to import, but first let me import a image. So icons, I had few. Extract, so I can just drag and drop over here. So I got this, so I'm going to create a new folder, call it as icons. I'm going to move it over here. Okay, so I would be having a target lock, a heel and a dagger. Okay, one thing we have to make sure it is coming under our UI, and other thing, compression settings, I want to keep it as user interface so it fits properly. So now what other things I have to change is I'll go back to my image. Okay, so I'll select my where is my what was this called as target lock. So let's search for our target lock. Okay, it is taking the entire space, but I don't need the entire space, so I'm going to resize that one to 50 and 50. Where it is? Draw as image itself. So fill screen, I'll keep it to decide so that it will come properly as the changes what I have done in the X and Y axis. So let's compile, save. Okay, so we can use this to log the enemy characters. So for that, let's come back to our PPC compact. Where was our PPC compact? Under the blueprint. We'll create one more thing. And we'll create a blueprint class. We'll create an actor for this target log, and we'll name it as bp underscore target log widget. Did I leave a space? Yes, there was a space which I had accidentally left. So don't leave the space. Double click. So add a widget. Okay. So after adding this widget, in the widget class, where is our widget class, where is our widget class? Let's search for our widget class. So here is our widget class. So I am searching for my target widget. Okay. So draw size would be around 30 to 30. And space, I'll keep it to the screen. With that said, I'm going to compile. So if I drag and drop to my level, something like this, save everything. So let's go to our compact. So let me come back to the here. Search for spawn actor from class, and that would be my target log widget. Always spawn ignore collision is my collision handling settings. Oh yeah, so let me get this target log, get actor transform. So split struct pane. Okay, let's give some space over here. So here also let's split spin. Okay, so here location, and again I'm going to split. So same thing with the location, x to the x, y to the y. With the z, I'm going to add a number. So I'm going to add or maintain the same number as 20. Okay. So rotation to rotation. And scale is not needed. Obviously, we are not going to scale it. And I'm going to just promote it to a variable. And name it as target log widget. And save it. Okay. So from here, I'm going to attach actor to actor so that it can properly align to our enemy target or enemy AI. So target log actor would be for our parent actor. So everything would be snap to target. So now if I go here, Okay, you can see that particular widget which is spawning, I mean that white color target lock. So you can see it is snapping to the character. Okay, I just added that blueprint directly to my level that time, so I was able to see that. So now if I snap, you can see the white color target lock has been added. So you can actually change this white color or transparent layer what I had added for the widget into a different icon. Okay, which you can align to your game accordingly. So one thing I have to delete it from my level is I have to go to my PPC compact. So let me take it my target log actor. Once it is there, then I have to destroy the actor. So now after locking, okay, I guess I know what the error is. So not the target actor, lock actor, I should have added target lock widget. So this is what I am destroying, right? So let me compile, save. So now you lock. So now there is no error. Okay. Save everything. So you can see middle mouse button I'm clicking, so it is appearing. Middle mouse button again, I'm locking, unlocking, so you can see that widget destroying and appearing one more time. Okay, and there is no more error. As the names are very much similar, target log actor and the target log widget, be careful with this. Okay, so we had completed our almost our initial stages of targeting our enemy. Okay, so let's make sure it is organized. Oh yeah, one more thing I can change is I can just go to our editor preference. So the comment whatever we are doing, no, that color we can actually change. So if I search for the comment, so we have our default color, But if I try to make a bit dark, so now if I do, let me move this over here. See right now I'm almost getting a transparent. So I'm going to name it as get player class. So I'm going to name entire this thing as target log. Okay. So this I'll name separately as within a group. I'm making a group and I'm going to name it as target log update. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we were running into a problem, so I took a short break. Sometimes it happens whenever you are doing a lot of things in the Unreal Engine, especially with the blueprints, animations, everything is going around. So the problem which I was running was I was having an error. So for example, the previous file, if I'm trying to um, download it, so if I'm taking that, so if I'm trying to showcase it as SK mannequin import, so I would be having an error saying that I would be like the animation is not properly frame rated to the 30 fps, so it can't be imported. So in that case, what I have done is, so obviously I went to the blender, so you can see all my skeletons over here. So yes, so if you see my skeleton structure and if I select my root, and right now I had snapped it to the exact 106 frame rate, so now it was successfully able to import it. So sometimes trial and error, sometimes we have to know exactly where we are going wrong and we have to just here and there some corrections would be there, so we can't help, we have to do it anyway. So let me just rename it for now. So I'm just going to rename it as sword, maybe a sword combo. Yeah, so you can rename it. Okay, so now if you double click, you can see this thing's working fine and good. Okay, so for this character, this is what we were having a bit of trouble. So now it is working fine. Okay, cool. So this I would be using it for my main attack. Okay, as of now I'm keeping only one attack. So if not, you can always, sorry, I'm thinking I'm opening few of my personal things over there. So let me close the window. So obviously, yeah, what I was trying to say is you can just go to the Mixamo and you can just get it. Yeah, one thing, enable root motion before doing anything. So yeah. So now Yeah, cool. So now I want to create an animation montage for this one. So how do we do that? So I can just go to the create animation montage. So this would be an animation montage. So you can see over here. So you can see this is the animation montage. Okay. One thing I'll have to do right now, please save your files and let me go back to my RPG blueprint, open your compact, or before opening to that, um, let me go to the third person input action. Okay, so I have to I have to create an action button for that sword movements, and I can create a input action, name this IA attack. Okay, I'm keeping everything as default. Only thing is I have to add this in my mapping. So attack. So this one, left mouse button I'm keeping. So yeah, you can change it in whatever key buttons you need. So for example, you need a Q or anything, so you can just change it to the Q. So save it, or you can manually search all these things. So let me close this. So let's come back to our VBC compact. So come down. I'm going to search for IA attack. So let me start play montage over here, which I had created just now. So load your montage. Montage was sword attack combo montage. So this was the montage we had created, right? So let me get my third person. From third person I need the mesh. So that mesh is the skeletal mesh of this compact. So let's test this. So you can see the attack animations is going on fine and smooth. Okay, so I'm just going to come back. I'll just control the speed over here. Where is my speed? Yeah, here. So as my animation speed is kind of low, so I'm just increasing the speed slightly above. So now let's play. Okay, this is having a good speed right now. Okay. So one problem what we are seeing is, so right now if I attack and if I press again, the animations are going to start everything from the first, which is looking a bit of weird. In that case, I have to correct that one. So how do you correct, any ideas? So let's go to that and let's correct that one. Okay. So let's begin with BBC compact. We'll create a new variable. I'll create a boolean called as is attacking. So I'm going to take that is attacking. So not boolean, I'll add a not boolean and I'll add a branch over top of that. So if it is attacking, the animation should not start from the start. So if it is attacking is not true, set enable true. Okay. So if attacking is not true, so that means I can attack. Okay, right. So once the action has been completed, I'll get, once the action is completed, I have to keep it as, or interrupted, I have to keep it as he's attacking as a wrong, or sorry, not wrong, but a disabled thing. Now let me see. See, I'm not having. So one thing is, if I press one time, it is playing all the three sword combo animation. But I needed only one attack, not the all three attack. So our next thing is to make sure that not three combination, but only one combination is gonna work. Okay. In order to do that, let me cross check if everything is working fine. So is attacking. If it is not boolean, so then I had added a branch is attacking. Okay. Cool. So our next combo we have to cross check. I'll name it as attack. Okay. So now in order to get that only one sword attack, I have to get back to my montage. And there is something called as notify. You would have noticed this notify here also, like on completed, the notify begins, end, notify name and everything. So this is going to help me in triggering only the what part I need in this. So okay. So in order to do that, I'm going to rename it as combo. Okay. So I can add till what point I need. So let's check properly where exactly we need. So I can add what modifier can I add? Little I'll do where the character is about to strike again. Okay. When he is about to strike back, I can add a notify montage. Okay. I'll add second multiple. So you can see okay. So let me save this. So let me come back. So this is where I would be adding. So I would like to add a branch. He is attacking. So if you are currently attacking, and I'm going to search and I'll add a new variable called as combo. So let me drag a combo. It's just simply a variable if you want to just to know whether we are going to continue or not. Okay. So here if you are already attacking, so this thing is going to happen. If it is false, then I'm going to set it as combo is going to be played over here, and this is going to be continue on. So one more thing I would like to add. So here set this like this. So if it is true, we don't want to continue the combo. In that case, what I'll do, I'll take my player and search for get mesh and search for your anim instance, get anim instance and search for montage play. So if we can just, oh, it is not montage play actually. We are actually, if I'm connecting it for the false, I have to search for the montage stop, not the play. Montage stop. Okay. Blend time around, I'll keep it around 0.2 and select your montage. So what was our montage? SWAT attack. Okay. So I'll get is attacking, not the get, I'll set is attacking. Okay. Here once again, after doing all that, I'm just keeping it is attacking false. So yeah, combo is missing, right? So I'll keep combo as also false. So that's pretty much it. So now if I go to my play, so you can see only one sword attack is going to be happening. Okay. So if I click 2 times, 2 animations are going to be played. If I press 3 times, 3 animation, complete animation is going to be played. If you want, you can just a bit changes over here to change. This I think it is not needed because I had already added over here. So you can just delete it. I just deleted it because can you see here we had added it on completed on interrupted already. Okay. Cool. Okay. This depending on the changes you can make it over here. Okay. So now if I go here and search for blueprint all classes and search for anim notify, I need to search for anim notify state and select name it as notify. So right now you can do damage or sword fight or anything. So I'm going to name it as damage. Okay. So double click on that functions, I can just name it as receive notify begins. So here, just like your other blueprint, how the event begin play and the event end play is there, right? Which is very similar to this one. Okay, cool. So we just want to do the traces over here. So now if I go back to my compound where we had written our logic, so we have to just make sure we are executing all the traces. So we can create a custom event and name it as begin damaged trace. So we are just trying to create a trace where we can where we can add the damage. So from here, set timer by event. So we are going to set the timer around 0.01. So on the event, I can add okay. So from here I have to start adding an event for this particular event begin damage trace, and we are adding it for the set timer by the event. Okay, have to drag. I'll add one more custom event. Add custom event, call it as damage trace. Let me enable the looping. So from here I'm going to get sphere trace by channel. So specify star location. So at the moment I can add here, because I don't have a sword as an object where I can add it over here to trace these things. So let me quickly go and import a sword. You can take it from the fab, the sword. Let me search for sword. Okay, let me I don't have money to buy, so let me give the prices. There are no swords for free. That's very strange. So let me okay, I have free swords here. Okay, let me take one. This is looking cool, so let me add it. Add to project. Yes, I have read, accepted. So I got the asset. Oh, with the sound and all it came. That's very nice. Oh, sound format in the wave format and all it has. Did I just download the sound effects, not the sword? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I just downloaded the sounding packs, but not the actual sword. Yeah, let's go back and download actual sword here. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So let me add this to my project. I had a crash. Maybe was it because of the asset? No idea. Okay, let me see if that asset is there. Okay, this has been saved. That's the reason we have to always keep saving our files. RPG UI, where I think that was not downloaded it. No problem. I think in the Paragon sword or something, I guess I had seen a. Um, okay, let me just enable the static meshes. I guess in the Paragon character was using a sword. Let me see if that is true. Yeah. See, I had here. I was not even. It was not even needed for me to go and download it from other things, as my Paragon character had already existing swords. So under the, oh, it's in the dungeon, not the Paragon. Okay, okay, fine. So under the dungeons I had the swords. Okay. Okay, cool. So now I want to add this mesh to my character's hand, like connecting it to a bone. So how do I do that? So let me go for my SK mannequin first. So let me remember this. It is under the content dungeon, swords and meshes. Let me copy this. But before that, let me get back to my character. Meshes, no, not the dungeon meshes. Character, mannequins, meshes. Where was our SK mannequin? Okay, here he is. So I have to search right hand, hand R. Okay, here. Okay, I need to add this word over here. Okay, let me add a socket. Okay, sorry. So you can just take any of the assets over here. In that case, I'll just take this. You see, cool. So I can actually preview a scene. Okay. Uh, okay, let me cross check whether it is looking fine or not. Search or okay, I think this is working fine. Cool. You can check with the different animations what we have over here. Cool. Just if you need a bit of direction change or anything. Okay. That's cool. Now save it. You can also change it. This works, I guess, for me right now. So now let me open the third person character. I'll add um, selecting the mesh because and I'll add static mesh and I can name it as sword. What was the sword I had added? I think. Oh, let me see it over here. So let me search for sword. The sword which I had added was claymore, I guess. So let me bring it over here. Okay. And here obviously I have to search for that and or socket only. Make sure everything is under 000. Compile, save. Okay, and search for collision and keep it under no collision. So sword should not go. Okay. I think this sword size is a bit huge, no? I mean, this is looking really cool, but sword size, I feel it's a bit too huge. Can I keep it around 8 or 5? 5 is too much. Yeah, this looks cool. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, so now we have to make sure we are having a start and end point of our animations. Okay, so let me add arrow. So this is going to help me in tracing. I'm gonna rename it as start sword trace pose. Okay, so let's make it as smaller size. I'll just off the real time so I can just place this in a tip. So you can see that sword over here. I think it is too small. Let me keep it around 5. Oh, now it is too big. This point 3. Yeah, point 3 makes sense. Make it a bit off the grid and keep it under the point where it can attack. And I'll keep it under start and end. Somewhere around here. So yeah, let's come back to our real time. So now we have a start position and end position. Maybe this one, let me take it a bit. No. Okay. So now let's come back over here. Start. Okay. So now player BP is been connected to the sword start sword position, that is here what we had placed, that is the start position and the end position of the arrow. So coming back, let me close the SK mannequin. So let us go for the BPC combat. Okay. So from here, as usual, let us get actor location, not the actor, maybe the word location, as we are not focusing on the actor but that position. So get word location and start point. So from BP, we'll also get the and what was get end sword position, get word location connected to our end. Okay, so same just like how we had added over here, so similarly we would be doing it over here also. So the radius would around 10. Okay, so overall I'll keep everything else as same. Okay, what we can do is somehow we were that's what we are keeping it in the form of object. So instead of channel which we had created over here, so what we can do is we can create it directly for the object. So instead of taking one more object, I'll directly try to get it in the form of object. So sphere trace for objects. I'm just going to cancel this. So start and end position, radius is as usual, I'm keeping it as 10. Okay. Oh, object type I have not written, so I have to just make it as array. Okay, I'll keep it as 1 and I'll keep it as spawn for 1 frame. So now the error what I was getting, it should go. So now if I combine, save, okay, so let's just see what we have done so far. So we have taken a player, from player we had created this word start position and the end position. We are getting the word location and object type, it kept it as array. Okay, and we are keeping it as 1 frame. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we are good to go for our next step. So let's create one more custom event. As we are calculating for the damage, we'll name it as end damage trace. Okay, so this I'm going to add it as a branch. Okay, so after adding it as a branch, so now the condition, so what would be my condition? So set timer by event would be my condition. So So what I'll do, so from the return node I'll keep it as is valid timer handle. So what we usually use it for the coin collection games, so that is this one. Add the condition, so please compile it. Okay, so now I have to add a true or false event for this one. Okay, let's save it. So here also, if I what is this, promote it to, not promote it to variable, but I can add this clear and invalidate timer by handle. So I can add it true over here. Return node I can keep it for the handle. Okay, I can double click add a node. So let's keep it as organized as much as possible. So let's go back to our notify, where our end and start points we had added, right? So that notify we had where did we create RPG blueprint. So notify damage, so here it was, so connect it over here. Okay, so this is where we had created. So in order to make it more efficient, let's get back to our third person character, where we can create an interface. Okay, so I hope you know how to create an interface. So interface, instead of casting for the third person every time, we would be creating an interface. Okay, so let's create it. Blueprint, where was it? Okay, one second. Oh, here it is, blueprint interface, and I'm going to rename it as BPI damage. So let's rename it as begin sword trace. Okay, and end sword trace. Okay, just compile it, we are just adding it over here. Okay, so we just created an interface. So in the interface, what did we do? We had just added a begin SWOT trace and the end SWOT trace. Okay, keep it safe and keep it compiled. So let's get back to our notify. So we had already added the um, notify begin, receive notify begin, receive notify end. Okay, so let's get back to our begin notify, receive notify begin. So from the mesh component we can get owner. Okay, so from here I can just search for, does it implement does object in implement interface. So from here, where is my damage which I had created? Interface, BPI interface. Okay, so let me just add a branch over here. BRA. See, this is spelling should be proper. Okay. So condition I had connected over here. So from here only I can also search for the begin fortress. Where is my begin fortress? Da-da-da. I need to get a begin. Where is my begin? I'm not able to get this somewhere. Okay, here it is under the BPI damage begin SWOT trace. Okay, so once this begins SWOT traces over here, I can add it to the true. So now let me get a bit organized. So using interface will just make it more organized. So same thing we are going to do for the end. This goes here. So instead of true, just plug into the false. Connect it over here. Copy the same thing over here. So instead of end begin, we'll keep it as let's search for event or trace end. Okay. So if it is true, here I kept it. So same thing, it has to be followed over here most of the time, and that's it. So now I have to add the interface of in my third person. Okay, so how do I add the interface over here? Class settings. Okay, usually whenever I add an interface, I have to go to the class settings. Okay, so in the class settings here, I would be having and search for BPI damage. So here I have the begin and end traces. So now I can just and we can add over here. So now I can get the BBC compact over here. So from here I can call begin damage trace connected. So here end damage trace connected. Okay, so that's it. So I can make a new compact calling it as what traces. So now I can move this around here. Okay, so now I have to add it to the animations also. So now let's go to the montage. Where was my montage? UI, no, not in the UI, it was under the characters, mannequins. Was it here? Where did I? Yeah, and the characters, RPG souls. So now let's go back to my montage. Okay, I'm going to add a new track. I'm going to name it as traces. So here we had created a PP notified damage, right? So that I would be adding. Okay. So you can keep it till the end, till when he can. So again for the second slash. So I'm going to copy, paste, paste it over here. So now if I play, can you see that red trace going on? That means that it is tracing. Cool. So now as you are going to get close to the target, so in the damage trace I'll put the radius around 25. I think it is a bit too huge right now. So maybe I'll change it to around 20. Okay, I'll keep it around 20. So for now, that's it. So now we have the damage system. We have to create a health system. Okay. That's how you create the attack combo for your RPG style games. Okay, guys. Till here we had completed the part 1 of our game, RPG style game. Okay, so we have seen how to add the animation sequences and how to clear the all the errors which we got through our animation sequence. Like I was having an error in the animation sequence timing, so I had just snapped it to 106, that is for the 30 fps game. Okay, so after importing that one we had added to our gameplay over here. So after adding to our gameplay, then we just created a bpc compact and notify damage, third person bpi damage, sword combo, animation montages, animation sequences, animation blueprints, and we had worked on a lot of things in this particular part 1. So in our next part would be regarding the health stat and the dodging thing, and we have to just start creating the AI core concept of the AI enemies or anything. But for the part 1 this would be it. So we'll continue the next core concept of the RPG style gaming in the part 2. I hope you guys understood our today's session, And if there is any other queries or any of your doubts has to be answered, please um, text me or notify me. I would be willing to help you all. Okay, thank you all, take care.